Good morning, everyone. I want to introduce you to a development that is very hopeful that we will see a spiritual awakening towards Jesus. And Joe Rogan, of all people, is going to lead us there because he has made a turn for Christ, but only Jesus. And that's the key here. So I want to play this clip. It was on Russell Brand's video yesterday or the day before yesterday. And you just know what's going to happen is instead of him being able to just embrace Jesus and follow the Jesus of the Sermon on the Mount and do what Apostle Peter said is necessary to not be cut off from God's people, obey Jesus. That's what he said in Acts chapter 3. We're going to find that no, we're supposed to turn to Paul. That's what they're going to do to him. That's what they did to me. I found Jesus first. I turned my heart over to Jesus when I had that message from Billy Graham, told me to repent, turn from my sins, and embrace Christ and follow him. That's what he told me in the early 70s. And so I embraced that message. And then Billy Graham changed later into a Paul only type pastor, teacher. But this is another opportunity for the Church of Christ, the true Church of Christ, to pray for Joe that he will not be diverted into the message of Satan, which is to not follow Jesus, to disobey Jesus, to listen to a different voice who teaches it's okay to be deceptive for the gospel. For by my lie, why am I still called a sinner? As Paul's words in Romans 3:7. And why does he say, I act like a Jew when I'm around a Jew? I pretend I'm under the law when I'm around a person who's under the law, even though myself I am not under the law. These are all Paul's statements in 1 Corinthians 9. But nobody tells you the bad parts about Paul. They're going to just tell you, hey, how free you can be, and you don't have to worry about Jesus's words anymore. You can just follow Paul, and you're going to make it to heaven anyway. That's the message that is going to try to tempt and seduce him. So we have to pray for him that he is not misled and he can find the true gospel in just reading the gospels. All right, so here we'll play this clip. I have to cut it out a couple portions from Russell Brand's video, but I think you'll be impressed how Joe is making the turn. All right, God bless everybody. Enjoy. I'll come back at the end to just say goodbye.
Let's have a listen to Joe Rogan saying that what's actually required in our culture is a meaningful spiritual shift. And indeed, how does that feel to you? Doesn't it feel like something significant has to happen? All the while people tell you, do you know your life's better than it ever was? Feels like a spiritual crisis is happening, doesn't it? Listen to what Joe Rogan's got to say.
But I think as time rolls on, people are going to understand the need to have some sort of divine structure to things, some sort of belief in the sanctity of love and of truth. And a lot of that comes from religion.
Seems like Joe Rogan's saying that materialism and rationalism are failing. And what's needed is a revivification and libidinization of American political and spiritual life in order to stop it being just pick one of these. We need a lot more. And what Joe Rogan ends up saying is we need nothing less than the return of Jesus Christ. Now, whether that's a physical return, and Lord alone knows I pray for it, or a return of Christ within yourself, within your own consciousness, is not yet clear. But certainly something significant must happen. And I don't just mean within you as an individual, but if it didn't happen within you as an individual, it wouldn't actually matter if it happened anywhere else, would it? But certainly it has to happen across the culture.
A lot of people's moral compass and the guidelines that they've used to follow to live a just and righteous life has come from religion. And unfortunately, a lot of very intelligent people, they dismiss all of the positive aspects of religion because they think that the stories are mere superstitious fairy tales, that they have no place in this modern world, and we're inherently good and your ethics are based on your own moral compass and we all have one. And that's not necessarily true. We need Jesus. I think, for real. Like, if he came back now, it'd be great. Like, Jesus, if you're thinking about coming back right now, now's a good time.
I mean, that's a more inspiring message than pick one, isn't it? Like, return, please, to Jesus Christ. And particularly if you consider what that might mean is surrendering your own vanity and ego and sense that your knowledge is the only way that the world can be determined, which is precisely what I'm getting from the neoliberal establishment in the form of MSNBC there, is that there is no hope, that we know everything.
I left in there Russell Brand because this just goes to show is another influencer who also is finding spiritual direction in his life at the same time is trying to amplify Joe Rogan, who made this switch just recently. So this is an amazing turn of events, if you ask me, and it's something I hope we can pray about, that these two gentlemen who have tons of influence are trying to lead people in the right direction towards Jesus. And I just know what's going to end up happening. It's going to be an effort to turn Joe and Russell Brand over to Pauline Christianity instead of just following Christ. I'm hoping and praying that this is the beginning of a good and great movement to bring back the true message of Jesus to a larger mass audience. And people will now embrace Jesus's words, not somebody else's words, and obey and follow him. All right, I hope this gives you encouragement, and please pray for Joe and also Russell Brand that they will not be switched over to a different Jesus, Jesus that did not actually exist. That means a Jesus that wasn't the true Jesus. So I pray this for us to do, and to do that faithfully. And this can switch our culture back to a salvation that actually is the true salvation message of Jesus Christ. All right. God bless everybody. Take care. Ciao. Bye.